Advaitam. Chapter 4. Māyā. The Drishtantas we have seen so far illuminate the teachings of Advaita and bring us intellectually closer to its central truth. Yet, every analogy eventually reaches its limit and leaves behind an inevitable question: if Brahman alone exists, why do we experience multiplicity? Consider once again the rope snake analogy. The rope appears as a snake not because the rope has changed, but because its true nature is not recognized. Ignorance conceals the rope and projects the snake. What then is the cause of this ignorance? The enlightened spiritual masters respond, Māyā. Immediately, more questions arise. What is Māyā? Why does it create multiplicity? Is Māyā itself another independent reality? If Māyā is real, then Advaita collapses into duality, for there would now be two eternal realities, Brahman and Māyā. If Māyā is unreal, then how can something unreal produce an appearance so convincing that it governs our entire experience of the universe? This apparent paradox marks the very boundary of logical reasoning. The Advaita tradition therefore describes Māyā as anirvachaniya, that which cannot be categorically described. It is neither Sat, absolutely real, nor Asat, absolutely unreal. It is Mithya, an apparent or dependent reality. The word Māyā is often translated as illusion, appearance, or magic. However, it does not imply absolute non-existence like the horn of a rabbit. Rather, it denotes that which appears to exist while possessing no independent reality of its own. Just as the snake appears upon the rope, the universe appears upon Brahman. The experience is undeniable, yet the perception is incomplete. To gain some intuition, let us borrow a symbolic idea from mathematics. Earlier, we compared Brahman to the infinite. Now consider another curious idea from arithmetic division. As a divisor becomes smaller and smaller, the quotient grows larger and larger. In arithmetic, division by zero is undefined, yet conceptually, as the denominator approaches zero, the quotient grows without bound. Symbolically, we may write 1 over 0 is infinite, 2 over 0 is infinite, 3 over 0 is infinite, and so on. Conversely, one may symbolically think of an interesting idea. The same infinite appears as many finite expressions, not as a strict mathematical operation, but as a philosophical analogy. Zero, which holds absolutely no value, in other words nothing at all, seems to interact with absolute infinity and generate the multiplicity of numbers. Note that this is not a mathematical identity but merely a philosophical analogy. Here, the infinite represents Brahman, limitless, indivisible existence. The zero-like principle represents Māyā, that which has no independent reality of its own. The apparent interaction between Māyā and Brahman and the seeming multiplicity that arises from it exists only from the standpoint of avidya or ignorance. From the standpoint of Brahman, no such interaction or multiplicity ever truly exists. Through Māyā, the one appears as many, names, forms, objects, beings, and the entire universe of experience. Yet Brahman itself undergoes no change whatsoever. Just as countless numbers may appear from the apparent interaction of zero with infinity in this symbolic analogy, the diverse world appears from Brahman through Māyā. Just as the infinite remains infinite regardless of how many finite expressions we imagine from it, Brahman remains complete and untouched by the appearance of creation. Thus, Māyā is not an entity to be defeated or a mystery to be solved through logic. It is merely a name given to our erroneous perception of reality. As long as Brahman is not recognized, multiplicity appears self-evident. With the dawn of knowledge, jnana, that very multiplicity is understood in its proper perspective. The purpose of Advaita is therefore not to explain Māyā exhaustively, but to transcend it through self-knowledge. In other words, the snake never needed to be removed, only the rope needed to be known. Likewise, liberation is not the disappearance of the world, but the realization of Brahman.